Hey guys, welcome to the first week of December. Hopefully you guys are over your BOGO coma. It was an amazing month of November. Super proud of every single one of you guys. So many of you guys pushed really hard. We love when everyone up levels and goes to a new rank. It's so fun and there's so much momentum happening in your team right now. So I want to talk to you about how you can basically capitalize on that and keep the momentum moving forward. So rocking my top knot today and rocking my business today, made a bunch of phone calls and want to share with you about if you're feeling like one of those people that you're like, oh my gosh, people spent so much money on BOGOS and now I'm asking them to spend 200 PV. Like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do that. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about LRP. We're going to talk about the wellness console a little bit, and I'm going to give you some things to think about and some key phrases to use when using getting people on LRP. So normally I don't tell you to get out a pen and paper, but there are some key phrases that I think you're going to want to. So I would have a piece of paper and a pencil. If you do not have one, I would probably watch this again. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about your belief in LRP. Now, this is really easy for me because I spent over 100 PV on LRP for 3.5 years before I ever built this as a business. So for me, I already believed in these products enough to be able to put my finances behind it. So it's really easy for me to sell it. So first of all, I want to question, how easy is it for you to sell it? If you were not doing doTERRA as a business, would you be purchasing over $100 a month? If the answer is no, then most likely the reason why you can't get people on LRP is because of your mindset. So how do you change that? Well, first of all, it's using the products. There is absolutely no reason that you guys should not be on Lifelong Vitality if you are not on it. Obviously, that's the #1 product that we use to get people on LRP, and you can't sell it if you don't use it. So I would highly recommend you get on LRP. And if you're not like on the skincare line, first of all, their skincare line is amazing. I used Rodan and Fields for probably 3 years, and I switched to doTERRA, and I can't tell you how much healthier and more soft my skin feels. And you obviously saw my Yarrow Palm on my forehead. Maybe you haven't. I'll have to post it. I'll post it after we do this video. But basically been using Yarrow Palm on my face, and holy cow, like I think Yarrow Palm might break the internet today because my PV is out of its mind because of the Yarrow Palm. So you need to fall in love with the product. You need to try everything. So every single month, you need to put something new on your LRP. If you haven't started greening up your home and you're still using Clorox and scrubbing bubbles and all that stuff, first of all, y'all, that's gross. Get it out of your house. Like pronto. You're a wellness advocate for doTERRA. You should be using all of the products that doTERRA has. You should be using the On Guard cleanser. You should be to clean your toilets and your floors and all that stuff. You should be making your own your spray bottles for your countertops and glass spray, all of those things. You should be greening up your skincare. You should be trying to use all the deodorant, which, there's a process. You can't go from regular like antidepressant to doTERRA's deodorant. There has to be a detoxing process. Message me if you want to know about that. But the hair care line, obviously there needs to be, like, if you're going to get people on LRP, you need to radically believe in the product. And I don't know any other better way of telling you than just be a radical user of the product. Why is it so easy for me? Because there's not a product that doTERRA sells that I don't think is amazing. Like truly, there might be some products that I don't use, but there's no product that I'm like, oh my gosh, it's terrible. Now, I will say I didn't like the old deodorant, but this New Balance deodorant is amazing. So it's easy for me to sell. But before, when I did the wellness consult, I would tell people I didn't like the deodorant. But now there's really nothing that I don't like that I don't use. I mean, I might not use the GX Assist or the phytoestrogen complex or the PB Assist every single day, but there's times that I do use all of the products, okay? So anyways, that is something that I would challenge you on. If you're a wellness advocate that is still using your top 10 oils, you are not growing in your education of the oils. So you need to spend some time learning more and more about what these oils do and some of the benefits of them. Up your education so that you want to use these oils and you want to be taking them internally and all those kind of things. So that's my #1 thing is, where is your mindset about LRP? Do you have a scarcity mindset where you don't feel like the value is there enough to sell it because you personally wouldn't be on the 100 PV order if it weren't for the fact that you needed to get a paycheck? If that's the case, I'm going to tell you guys, you're not going to get people on LRP because you can't sell something that you're not genuinely passionate about. Okay, so that's step #1. I know I sounded kind of preachy about that, but it just drives me crazy when I talk to my advocates and they're like, hey, I can't get people on, the lifelong vitality, I can't get people on LRP. And I'm like, well, are you using the products? Would you do it if, would you use them if it weren't for, you making money? And, they say no. I'm like, why are you selling this then? If you don't believe wholeheartedly in these oils and what they can do for your health, then this is not the business you need to be in. Okay, so let's talk about the wellness consult. These are called doTERRA Live Guides. You can buy them in your back office. You don't get PV for them, but you can buy them in your back office. You can also, there's a download if you would rather download it. If you are new to your business, I would highly recommend you just laminate this and have one copy of it and have people just go ahead and give people a piece of paper. Or give them the download afterwards, just so you can save money. I'm all about trying to save money, especially when you're not making money. When you first start this business, there's definitely an investment. So that's what I usually recommend. So here's what I do. I fill out the back. So I always put their username and password. I put my contact information. I put our learning education page. I put also my future classes on there in case they want to invite people to. So this is really important. I usually go over this first. I'm like, hey, here's your username and password. Here's how to get a hold of me. And then what I do is actually work a little bit backwards. So I first go to this page right here. And usually I start with this. So I start with this with a pen, and then I say, okay, tell me about what we're working on today. Tell me about your use of essential oils. Like what have you used since you've gotten the kit? Or, what are you using, now that you've started your essential oil journey, if they just got a couple of oils or whatever. So I listen to them and, hear what they're saying. And then I write down their top health priorities as a family. If they don't give it to me, I'll ask specifically, well, what are you working on? What are some things that your family is working on? And they'll tell me. And then I always try and put down the solutions they already have and then the solutions they need. Okay. So one way or the other, however you want to do it, basically their things they want to work on, their products that they currently have, and then what they need to do from there. And then what I do, so here's where I'm like listening, okay, tell me more about that. And you should have the Essential Life book with you, okay? Now, even though you might know what people need to use for migraines, look it up in the book every single time, because what you're telling people is, A, they need the book. B, this business is easy. All you do is look in the book. If I start rattling off like all these things, because again, I've been using essential oils for 5.5 years. I'm pretty knowledgeable in the oils. I could do that without the book. But every single time I open up the book and I write down and all those kind of things. So make sure people see that you're using the book. And then I say, hey, I'm going to write down right here. Is it okay if I write down what I would recommend if I were you? Okay, so again, these are keywords. Hey, is it okay if I write down right here what I think if it were me, what I would do? And so then I write them a plan, and I just tell them a lot of times what I do. In the morning, first thing in the morning, I do a drop of lemon in my water or under my tongue, and I'll guzzle water. I take 1 Terrazyme, and I take 2 Mito 2 Max. So I write that down. And then I go work out. I'm one of those weirdos that work out on an empty stomach because I get queasy if I don't. And then after I come home, I eat breakfast. Then I take my Lifelong Vitality, and then I do my internal oils, which right now I'm taking yarrow palm, frankincense, copaiba, turmeric, and pink pepper. Okay. Sometimes that'll change, but right now that's what I'm taking. So I take my Lifelong Vitality, a Terrazyme, and then I take what I just mentioned. Okay. So I might not recommend that for them, but I'll recommend some sort of use. And then I'll talk about, afternoon oils, talking about diffusing for mood and that kind of thing. And then at night, I always talk about the Terrazyme again, and then the Lifelong Vitality and the PB Assist. I talk about the PB Assist. I don't take PB Assist generally every single day. I usually take it about 10 days out of the month unless I'm doing the cleanse. Then I'll do a little bit more. But I've been working on my gut health for a really, really long time. So if you're one of those people that are getting sick all the time, I would say try and take PB Assist for a whole year in order to get your gut flora up, okay? So that's, so anyways, those are the things I talk about. I specifically talk a lot about Terrazyme because I think it's so important. Just a simple fact for you guys, every 10 years, you lose 13% of your enzymes. Your enzymes are what rushes to your tummy to help break down your food when you eat something. So if you're eating fruits and vegetables, you have natural enzymes in your food. But if you're eating a hamburger, there's no enzymes in there. Okay, so that's why it feels heavy and it takes a long time to digest. What Terrazyme does is it helps bring natural enzymes to your belly to help break down food. So any people who have any autoimmune issues or any digestive issues, I always recommend Terrazyme. Honestly, I recommend Terrazyme for everybody. Okay. And so then what other wellness choices support your goals? So we talk about the wellness pyramid. I always talk about like, okay, diet, exercise. I might recommend like, roller balls down here or coconut oil or things like that I'll put down. And then I just say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put together a 30, 60, 90 days. So 30 days, I write down some of the oils up here. I always start with that. Okay. And then this month I talk about greening up your home. And then this month I talk about greening up your skincare. That's what I do. And then I give this back to them. And then now they have the pen. Okay. So keyword on this is, can I write you a plan and tell you what I would do if it were me? Okay, right here. So then I go back one page, and then this is where you explain LRP. Okay, so this is where I feel like I really succeed on because of my phraseology. Okay, so, and I always tell people, the only thing I want you to do is read these 2 pages when you get home. Like, all of this has some great information on it, but read these 2 pages. Now, again, if you don't give them this, make sure you just send them the link. Okay, so I say, let me explain to you the cheapest and easiest way to get your oils. Okay. So again, I open this and say, I'm going to tell you the cheapest and easiest way to get your oils. Okay. So that's a key phraseology. So I say there's 2 ways to buy oils. The first is a one-time standard order, which honestly totally stinks because you don't get any points and there's no benefit other than you just getting product. I said the best way and the way most people purchase. Okay. The best way and the way most people purchase. Why do I say that? Because what do most people want to be like? Most people, right? So the best way, the best way that most people purchase is this. And I say, is our loyalty rewards program. And I say, it's amazing. And I have spent over $100 every single month for 5.5 years. And I'm super passionate about these health solutions and how to get these in your home for the cheapest way possible. So then what I do is I say, let's go ahead and talk about this program. And I usually, when people start, they're going to start at 10%. And I say, right now you just bought the Home Essentials Kit or you just bought a membership and BOGOS. So right now you're at 10% back. So that's awesome. That means next month, if you spend $100, you'll get $10 back the next month. So let's say the month of December, you do a $100 order, 100 PV, which I'll talk about in a second. If you do a $100 order, then you're going to get $10 back in January to spend. What's so cool about that is that's a bottle of lemon. So that's a really great way of getting some oils for free. Now, if you order 50 PV each month for 3 months, then you're going to move up to 15%. If you do another 50 PV order for 3 months, you're going to move up to 20%. And right now, after a year, you're going to be up to 30%. What's so cool about that is, and I always put a heart around it. So I circle this to know where they're at, and then I put a heart around that. You know what's so awesome is, guess what? If you place an order for 100 PV and I place an order for 100 PV, guess how much I get? I get $30. You only get $10 because I've gone through this process. And it's so awesome. What other reward program gives you 30% back in points? Okay, so another key phrase. What other reward program do you know gives 30% back in points to use for future credits? I've never heard of a reward program like that. So again, what I'm doing is building value and making people really want to be part of this program. Okay, so and then here's my transition statement to talk about the lifelong vitality, or actually talk about this first and then I talk about the lifelong vitality. So I say, if you believe that the natural lifestyle is something that you really want to embrace, I tell people just budget $50 a month. You don't have to buy a ton of oils every month, but just be committed to adding a couple onto your LRP order every single month. So write out the oils that you want and just buy a few a month and make it within your budget to spend money on natural health care. Okay? So again, I'll say that one more time. So I say, what I tell people is if you truly believe that this lifestyle, this natural lifestyle is something that you want to embrace, then just go ahead and budget $50 a month in order to do at least 50 to move up in points so that you can build your natural medicine cabinet and basically get the most benefit out of the LRP program. Okay, because here's the deal. Most people can spend $50. I mean, let's be honest, 50 PV is a lot more than $50. Usually it's going to be closer to 60 or whatever with shipping. But still, most people can budget that, And going back to the belief system, like there's people that drop $60 a month on Starbucks, on going out to eat, on their Panera or their Chipotle orders. Like, what better value is there in life, in my opinion, other than your spiritual life, is your physical health? Like, ask somebody who doesn't have it how much they would pay to have it back, and they would give any amount of money. For me, like, I don't think there's much more that I can invest than in myself. And like, if you don't believe that your health is the biggest thing that you can invest in, like, again, doTERRA is not for you, because there has to be a high level of ownership when it comes to using the oils. Okay. Off my soapbox. Okay. So then I say, let me go ahead and break it down a little bit more. Okay. So in order to maintain your LRP points, so let's say you start accumulating points, in order to keep those points, doTERRA rewards those who are faithful. So you have to spend at least $1 to keep those points and to keep your percentage. And then if you want to earn points and increase your percentage, like I just said, you have to spend a minimum of 50 PV a month. PV is like doTERRA's, it's called point value, but basically it's every oil is $1 to point, but some of the spa products and hair products aren't exactly $1 point. So again, it has to be a 50 PV order. So I'll show you in the dashboard what that looks like, but just remember that number. And then to qualify to receive income, like if you wanted to share with your friends or you wanted to host a class, you'd have to spend 100 in order to get a paycheck. And then the best way, and the way I purchase my oils, and then I circle circle or highlight the receipt, is this. And here's what I tell people, and you guys might think I'm nutso, but this is what I say. I say is if you spend 125 PV before the 15th of the month, you get a free product of the month. So like this month, it's Holiday Joy. So every single month, it's like a $10 to $15 product, but it's just another way doTERRA like rewards you for, ordering products. So you know what? I got to be honest. Here's what I do. So for 3.5 years, I told everyone every month, hey, I'm placing an order, and all my friends ordered off my account. And I got the free product of the month. I got the points back. I never shared them. So if you want to share with your friends and let your friends order on your account, I don't care. Now, I know you guys are probably like, oh my gosh, why did she say that? Okay, here's the deal. Number one, I would rather see one account with a 125 PV order than 7 accounts with a $10 PV order, first of all, in my organization. Second of all, what that's telling them is to share the oils. Like so many people start sharing their oils and then their friends start using their accounts and all of a sudden their friends' orders start getting too big and they're like, why don't you just get your own account? Like you get all these points, like you're giving me all these points. It happens all the time. It happened with me. Okay, so hey, I don't care if their moms and their grandmas and their best friends and their neighbors order off their account. Get one account that has 100, 200 PV, dude, that's awesome in my book. So that's what I say. I say, just collect orders. If you're cool with collecting money from your friends, it's a great way of getting oils for free and building up your natural medicine cabinet. Okay. So again, you might disagree with that. The Oates might kill me for saying that, but that's what I do. Okay. So then again, I just say, so then I'll start going over the lifelong vitality and I'll talk about this product. It's doTERRA's #1 product. It's basically, you can return it for your money back if you don't feel a tangible difference. And then I'd say what I do. So I always tell people what I do because most people think, okay, Beckie knows what she's talking about. And Beckie's vibrant. She's got a lot of energy. I'm going to do what Beckie does. Okay. So then I go through and say exactly what I do. So if you're curious, my husband and I are both on it. I do 2 Terrazymes a month, 1 Mito 2 Max a month because he doesn't take it, 2 Deep Blue a month, and 1 PB Assist a month. So that's what I normally do every month. Okay, so then what I do is after that, I give this book to them, and then I'll just go through, each of the pages. Okay, there's nothing really in here that you probably can't figure out how to do yourself. But I wanted to tell you exactly how I do this. And then I also have the Itovi, which is a body scanner. I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks a month. If you refer people, it gets down to 10 bucks, which is where I'm at. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it until you're actually making an income. So generally, I don't recommend it until you're silver. But I will tell you, it is definitely, if you truly believe this business is going to be around in your life for a long time, I would recommend investing in an Itovi because that's how I end my session. I shouldn't say that. I don't end my session that way. I usually will have them do the Itovi, and then those are the oils that I'll also put on that page of their 30-day goals or whatever. And then one of the things I do when we get to the emotional page is I bring out the emotional kit and I have them smell them all with holding the jar so they can't see the name. Because the way that the emotional oils work is if you're drawn to the oil, that's what your body needs right then. So it's always so interesting because people are like, oh my gosh, like that's totally true. So I just like to whet their appetite. And I always say when we get to the emotional oils, I say this is like Essential Oils 400 because honestly, I didn't use the oils for 3.5 years, like emotionally at all, because I thought it was hokey. I did believe in it until I actually had an experience with it. Okay, so that's how I do that part of it. So if you have the emotional kit, it's a fun thing. People love smelling the oils. Okay, so how I end it is I say, hey, I want to go ahead and show you what it looks like to build an LRP. So I always bring my computer with me whenever, and I have my hotspot on my phone so I can just go ahead and connect to my phone. And I always set up an LRP for them. So I walk them through it, and then I edit it, or then I pick a date, and I put things in their cart. I put all those things in their cart. And then at the end I say, do you want me to save this? And then you can make changes before the 22nd or whatever. And most of the time they say yes. A lot of times they're like, well, no, I'm not sure yet. And I'm like, okay, no problem. But I always say that because most of the time they're going to say yes. So again, it takes a little bit of boldness, but if you truly believe that these products are life-changing, why would you not want your friends to spend money on it? Okay. So I always do that. And I would set up an LRP. And if they set up an LRP with me, usually I give them a little keychain wallet with like empty little vials in it, and just say, hey, my gift to you for getting on LRP is, this little cute little thing. And you can entice them with it if you want to. And then I always say, okay, so at the end, like, so where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a sharer? Do you see yourself as, a builder, someone who might want to do this as a business? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, where are you at right now? And most of the time they're like, oh, I'm just a customer and da-da-da. And I always end the conversation like this. Okay, girl, I know you say you're a customer, but I just want to let you know that in 90 days, if you fall in love with the products the way I think you will and the way I have, I'm going to have a conversation with you about building, because this business is amazing and it's been such an amazing, amazing thing for our family. And so they usually laugh and whatever, but it's true. And then guess what happens in 90 days after they've been on LRP? I've already told them I'm going to call them and I'm going to talk to them about the business. And so it gives me a segue into building the business. They talk about being a sharer. Like, I think I could share. I say, well, why don't we just do a class? I'll offer you some free oils, or you can offer whatever. And why don't we get some of your friends together and I can help educate? And honestly, it's a great way, to get your oils paid for. We call that free healthcare, And so those are the ways that I usually end up, closing the conversation. So I usually make sure that they're plugged into my essential oil club and all that kind of stuff. I ask them if they have any questions. And then I just say, listen, I want to walk this journey with you. You have my contact information. And I don't say that lightly. Like, I'm building this as a business, but my heart is really to walk alongside people on this adventure. And I know I've been doing this for a long time, so I know I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the oils, but I understand how scary it was, because I remember being in that situation, and I don't want the oils to be scary. I want this to seamlessly work into your lifestyle, and I want to help you do that. So, that's just good customer service and people understanding your heart of how you're doing it. So anyways, that is what I do. Hopefully you got some tips and tricks on how to do a wellness consult a little bit more effectively. So let's talk about frankincense. So why on earth did they just spend so much money on BOGO? How can you tell them to buy frankincense? Y'all, frankincense, it's the king of oils. It's like, well, it's the way I came into the business. So I love frankincense. When in doubt, get your frankincense out. It's anti-cancer. It helps with depression. It helps any other oil become more powerful. So anytime I have any roller bottle and I'm making something for something else, I'm always throwing frankincense in there to make it that much more powerful. Frankincense is one of the oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier. So it's good for anything to do with the brain, memory loss, seizures, ADHD, autism, those kind of things. So why would you not? It's a $70 bottle of oil, and I get I do quite a few orders because I usually buy for Christmas gifts. I do quite a few orders this month to try and get all of my frankincense for the whole year. So anyways, I would say, don't think just because they ordered BOGOS last month that they're not going to be interested. And we have Yarrow Palm, y'all. Yarrow Palm is an amazing oil. Again, that is also really good for anti-cancer. It's awesome for your skin. Oh my gosh, y'all, I wish you could touch my skin right now because it feels so good. But it's also really good. One of the calls, Emily Wright actually got on. She's one of the owners, if you don't know, but she got on and actually talked candidly about Yarrow Palm. One of the things that Yarrow Palm does, which was kind of like a byproduct of it, that's not really why they went after Yarrow Palm, is it helps reset your weight, as far as like, how like you get stuck at like a certain weight and you can't get past it. What Yarrow Palm does is it kind of breaks through that barrier and looks for a new reset point. So that's why people are talking about losing weight on Yarrow Palm. But really, I did it first for 30 days all on my face. I did it morning, noon, and night with the derma roller. I'm sure I've talked to you guys about that. And on my skin is, see if I can get this picture up while we're talking. And after I had such an amazing experience on my face, I started taking it internally, those ones that I'm taking. So I've been taking it probably 30 days internally as well. So let's see if you can see this picture. No, you probably can't see it really well, but lots of wrinkles, not as much. So you can see I'm super expressive. So that's naturally going to be the place where I get wrinkles, but they're so less deep than they were before using Yarrow Palm. So you better have Yarrow Palm on your LRP because you need to experience it so that you can talk about the benefits with your peeps. Okay, so love to you guys. Happy December. Merry Christmas. Let's work really hard for like 20 days and let's take off the last little bit of the month because we can, because we've worked so hard this month to help people get oils in their houses, in their gift boxes for this Christmas. Okay, have a good one. Bye.